I'd like to call the Monday, June 5, 2017 Oakwood City Council meeting to order. Would you please rise and join me with the pledge to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a roll call, please, Lori?
Mayor Duncan.
Here.
Vice Mayor Byington.
Here.
Mr. Stevens.
Here.
Mrs. Hilton.
Here.
Mr. Epley.
Here.
And may I have a report on the minutes of our May 1 regular and work session, Mrs. Hilton?
Yes, Your Honor, I've reviewed the minutes from those meetings, and I found them to be correct and complete, and therefore I move that they be adopted as written.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, so ordered. Under status reports, we have an important visitor here this evening who is retiring from the city after many years of dedicated service, and our city manager wants to have the floor and go down and recognize our fine Oakwood employee.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I'd like to, I know you all know Mike Winkowitz, but maybe some that are here tonight or watching have not met Mike. I'd actually find that surprising, given the fact that Mike served the Oakwood community for 36 years. So let me try not to embarrass him here, but because he told me before the luncheon last week, keep it short, Norb, and I think we talked about him for about a half an hour. Mike was really a remarkable employee for the city of Oakwood. He showed up here in November of 1980, and as I say, he retired last Wednesday after 36 years of service. And we had, probably 100 folks or so at a wonderful luncheon event. And arguably, one of the highlights of that was the presence of two former Oakwood service directors. We now call them Public Works Director, but the service directors. And these were the two gentlemen that interviewed Mike in 1980, and they described with some humor that Mike came in for that interview with a big, huge red beard. And one of the conditions, apparently, of offering him the job was to shave the beard off, and Mike happily did so. But one of them was R.C. Reese, a remarkable gentleman. He's 92 years old. And he served Oakwood from 1959 to 1984, sharp as a tack. And the other was John Chain, who I know some of you know. And John was here from 1976 until 2000. So having them present was wonderful. Mike served in the U.S. Navy, served our country as a young man right out of high school, and worked for a couple of years at the Hewitt soap factory here in Dayton, and then attended Sinclair and earned his associate's degree in industrial engineering. And that's about the time then that he showed up at our doorstep here, and he was one of the most magnificent hires for our community. He was a general service worker initially, and then just 2 years later was promoted to maintenance worker. 2 years after that, in 1984, to foreman, and in 1994 to assistant service director, and that title was later changed to assistant public works director. Mike held our Class 2 water distribution license for the city, so in effect he was responsible for the entire Oakwood water distribution system, and he was our certified backflow device expert for the community. And I could talk for half an hour about Mike. The most dedicated, reliable employee you could ever wish for. And the statements of, there's big shoes to fill, irreplaceable. I mean, those kind of words don't even apply for someone like Mike. And Mike, had the unique skill of interacting with any personality in Oakwood. And we've got a whole bunch of wonderful people, and we've got some challenging people, particularly at difficult times when, for instance, your water line is broken and you've got flooding somewhere on your property, or there's a heavy rainfall event and you have sewage coming into your basement. And in Mike's capacity, he oftentimes was faced with those very, very challenging sort of events. And oftentimes those are late at night, early in the morning, just at times when stress levels are high. And Mike just had a wonderful way of addressing the problem and dealing with the human being in just a wonderful way. And I guess maybe I'll just leave it at that. And Mike is moving next month to down to the middle of Tennessee somewhere, and he enjoys fishing, and we're going to miss him tremendously. So just want to recognize
Thank
Mike.
you. Mike, you want to say anything to the citizens of Oakwood that are watching you on TV?
I'd just like to thank you for all your support over the years. Whenever we needed anything, when we needed something for distribution to get the repairs done, you always supported us in that. I've had a great opportunity to work with fantastic people throughout the years, and I've really enjoyed myself here. And I just thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I apologize for not being able to attend the meeting. Steve, I know, was there. I was out of town on business. But, when you get right down to it, serving on city council is essentially about providing public service and public works, and having our own water system is one of the huge benefits that Oakwood residents have because, it's reliable and it's clean and it's cheap. Our water rates are one of the lowest in Montgomery County, and part of that is because we can control the cost. And it's because of people like you that kept it in good operating repair, and we really appreciate your service.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Can I add one more thing?
Sure.
Remarkably, Mike's been here 36 years, but there are two people present who were here when he walked in the door. And I got to recognize them. So Alice Young, stand up, Alice. Alice has been here for 39 years, and of course is our assistant finance director. And Carol's been here 42, right, going on 43 years, or obviously our leisure services director. So they remember when this young man walked in here. So
It was shortly after that the federal government abolished the child labor laws. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. And we have another group of distinguished visitors here tonight, and it is the Oakwood High School Academic Decathlon team. And I hope the cameras can get pictures of all these fine young men and women out here. And we have a resolution that Vice Mayor Byington would like to read, and turn it to you.
Yes, Your Honor. This is actually one of my favorite parts of the entire year. You cannot believe how proud I personally am of you. When we go to meetings, all of council, we meet with folks from the region, and everybody talks about various different things that are going on in their city, and you guys are definitely one of the things that we're very proud of. This is a City of Oakwood proclamation to recognize the achievement of the 2017 Oakwood High School Academic Decathlon Team. Whereas the Oakwood High School Academic Decathlon Team was the Division III National Champions at the United States Academic Decathlon National Competition in Madison, Wisconsin on April 20th through the 22nd of 2017, competing against the best schools in the nation, marking the team's sixth consecutive, and I'll repeat that because I'm very proud of it, sixth consecutive national title, while also ranking third overall. And whereas this year's team, coached by Lori Morris, including Connor Hart, Will Janning, Ray Arsenis, Clay Gordemiller, Rebecca Gentry, Sam Carrier, Matt Koch, John Jones, and Cameron Hendricks. And whereas, in addition to placing first overall as a team, students received individual medals for high scores in select subject areas. Connor Hart, senior, received 8 medals. Rebecca Gentry, sophomore, received 8 medals. Clay Gordemiller, senior, 7 medals. Cameron Hendricks, sophomore, 7 medals. Sam Carrier, junior, 6 medals. Ray Arsenis, senior, 5 medals. Will Janning, sophomore, 5 medals. John Jones, senior, 5 medals. And Matt Koch, senior, 5 medals. And whereas the Oakwood High School students distinguished themselves in the overall categories as well, winning 8 of the 9 medals awarded for overall high score in their division. Oakwood received 3 golds, 2 silvers, and 3 bronze medals for overall individual scores. A gold medal represents the highest score in the nation, a silver medal the second highest score, and a bronze medal the third highest score. Ray Arsenis was voted most valuable team member by his teammates. Connor Hart received the overall individual high score. Individual high score medals included scholarships for the winners, and Oakwood High School students won a total of $6,250 in scholarship money for college. And whereas the Oakwood School Foundation and the residents of Oakwood support the academic decathlon team through their tax dollars and generous donations, now, therefore, the Council of the City of Oakwood does hereby congratulate and recognize the 2017 Oakwood High School Academic Decathlon Team as Division III National Champions. And it's in witness thereof with the seal of the city, this date, 5th of June, 2017.
Congratulations. I believe Lori Morris, our faculty advisor, is here. Would you like to address council? And you have coached all 6
Yes.
teams. Congratulations to you as well.
Thank you, Council, for having us here tonight. And I would like to thank Mr. Waller, our school principal, and Dr. Ramey, our superintendent, the parents and the community for their continued support of the team. This team works hours on end, starting in the summer. They have prepared for this national victory beginning last summer, and hours on end every week of the school year in preparation of their great success that they have. Oakwood is a national name at these competitions. They recognize the team from Oakwood, and we bring back this victory for the school each year. So we're very excited about that. These kids are extremely hard workers, and if you like, do you want me to individually introduce them to have them?
Well, what I'd like to understand, one of the events is extemporaneous speaking.
Impromptu speaking.
Impromptu speaking. So what I'd like each of you to do, if you could come up one by one and state your name for the record and what the program means to you, and if you happen to be a senior, if you can tell us where you plan on going for post-secondary education. Is that a good?
Perfect.
We'll find out how good they are, right?
Hello, my name is Clay Gerdemeller. So I'm currently a senior. I'll be heading to Case Western Reserve University in the fall. And the academic decathlon has been an amazing experience for me. It's been both a chance to satisfy my curiosity, but also a place to have fun with my friends, find a community where I belong. And all of that together is what ACADEC means to me.
Great. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Will Janning. I'm a sophomore, going to be a junior. Academic decathlon to me was a lot about the community, especially in Oakwood. I made a lot of good friends, and then I'll be continuing with academic decathlon with them in the future, and also it taught me a lot of skills like time management and organization. So that's what it means to me.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sam Carrier. I'm currently a junior, going to be a senior next year in high school. Academic decathlon, back when I was a freshman before I entered the program, I was largely a C student, and after going through the decathlon, not only have I learned study skills, not only has it really introduced me to new friends and everything, but it's really helped me get my grades up, helped me really improve myself overall as a person, and because of that I am fortunate enough to be able to really have a better opportunity to be able to go for a post-secondary education. So this program means the world to me.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kevin Hendricks. I'm currently a sophomore, incoming junior. For me, the academic decathlon program has given me an amazing ability to hone in my skills across 10 separate areas and real-life skills that will be necessary for my future, and I cannot be more grateful for this program in the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ray Arsenis, and I was a senior. I graduated, and so I'll be heading down to New Orleans for my schooling in Tulane University.
Oh.
And for me, academic decathlon, well, it's taught me how to study better, how to speak out loud in front of other people. To me, academic decathlon has mainly been about the camaraderie and the relationships that form between team members in many different classes.
Thank you. Got a lot of hardware on there.
Hello, my name is John Jones, and I am currently a senior in high school. I will be heading to Wright State next season in order to major in entrepreneurship. And academic decathlon has really impacted my life. Before I joined this program, I was very weak and shy with public speaking, but because of the hard work I've been able to do this year, I've been able to gain confidence whenever I speak in front of other people, and I've also considered these people to be my family, and I really enjoy this program.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Matt Cook, and I was a senior, and I'm going to Wittenberg University. And this program has meant a whole lot to me because before I entered the program, I was a C student, and I slowly built up my grades. And when I was fully committed, I managed to be or have almost straight A's. So it's made a big difference for me to get into college, and I've definitely met friends who I would have never met otherwise. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Connor Hart, and I am a graduated senior. I will be attending the University of Pennsylvania in the fall, where I will be dual majoring in international studies and economics. I would say that this program means a great deal to me. I'm completed already my 4th year in the program, as did Clay, and we don't stay with it for that long for no reason at all. It's certainly a time commitment, but it presents a lot of benefits. We gain in-depth, challenging information on a whole range of topics, and as has been emphasized so many times by the students, it really is a sense of community that emerges from the program, for which cannot be overstated enough. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. Does anybody on council want to make any comments? All right. One thing that was said in the Vice Mayor Byington's proclamation, it's signed by all the members of council. I'm going to come down and hand one to each of you here in a minute. But there are expenses to academic decathlon, and I know that I was proud to make a donation, to help support this program because I think it's so valuable. The thing that was so exciting to me, I mean, this isn't just a bunch of really smart kids. We have A students, B students, and C students, and the C students are now Bs, and the B students are now As, and it has to do with just the camaraderie and the collaboration, I think, that these kids go through. And so if you want to make a tax-deductible donation, you can make the check payable to Oakwood High School and send it to the high school on Far Hills and just indicate that it's for academic decathlon. And I think Lori's got a special little account to cover those expenses. Because, I mean, you went to Anchorage, Alaska 2 years ago, I think, and this year you went to Madison, Wisconsin. So, it's not an inexpensive endeavor. So this is something that, the Oakwood citizens should really support. I hate using sports analogies, but you guys are like the 1927 Yankees. They started winning World Series in 22. So, but we really appreciate all your efforts. So I will come down. Do you want to pass this out?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Don't want too many pictures of me with my head on. Part of good study habits is listening to everybody else talk, and you just have to listen. You're welcome to stay, but you're not obligated to. Again, congratulations. We'll see you back here next year.
Definitely.
Next, do we have any other, this is the visitor section of our council meeting, and if anyone else wishes to address council on anything else related to city council, now's your time to come down and state your name and address for the record, and we would welcome you. Does anyone else wish to address council? All right, thank you. We will then go to legislation. We have an ordinance to levy special assessments for our sidewalk repair project. Mr. Stevens.
Thank you, Mayor Duncan. This is an ordinance to levy special assessments for the construction or reconstruction of sidewalks and appurtenances thereto in the city of Oakwood, Ohio. This ordinance is the final piece of last year's sidewalk project and assesses the costs that have not already been paid directly by affected homeowners. This is the second reading of this ordinance, so I move that council adopt it this evening.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion or questions for Councilmember Stevens? Hearing none, Lori, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Duncan?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Byington?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
Yes.
Mrs. Hilton?
Yes.
Mr. Epley?
Yes.
And next, we have an ordinance adopting our 2018 tax budget. Vice Mayor Byington.
Yes, Your Honor. This is an ordinance adopting the 2018 tax budget for the city of Oakwood for the fiscal year beginning in January of 2018. This is a housekeeping ordinance, and it's to comply with Section 6.01 of the city charter. It estimates the city's revenues for calendar year 2018. This is a budget that has been reviewed by the fine men and women of the Budget Review Committee. It's something that we take a lot of time and a lot of effort. The city manager and all of his department heads spend a lot of time with that, and I would make the recommendation, as this is the second reading, that we move to adopt it tonight.
Do I have a second? Second. Any questions or for Vice Mayor Byington or any other discussion? Hearing none, Lori, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Duncan?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Byington?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
Yes.
Mrs. Hilton?
Yes.
Mr. Epley?
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Byington also has a resolution approving revisions to the first suburbs bylaws, of which the city of Oakwood is a member.
Yes. Oakwood is a member of the First Suburbs Consortium of Dayton, Ohio, which is a regional council of governments that was created in 2005 to focus on issues facing first-ring suburbs in the greater Dayton area. Besides Oakwood, member communities include the cities of Centerville, Clayton, Huber Heights, Kettering, Moraine, Riverside, Trotwood, and Vandalia, as well as Harrison and Washington Townships. The bylaws for the consortium have not been updated since they were first adopted in 2005. Last year, a bylaws review committee was formed to review the bylaws and recommend changes as appropriate. The recommended changes were approved by the consortium on March 22nd of 2017 and are now subject to ratification by each member community. As council's representative to the consortium, I have reviewed the changes and recommend that we approve them on Oakwood's behalf. For the most part, the changes are not any major departure from the original bylaws, but they do update the bylaws to better reflect how the consortium has come to operate over the past 12 years. The one significant change that the consortium will now have a procedure to offer associate entity memberships to organizations and regional agencies that are complementary to the objectives of the consortium. These organizations would not become voting members of the consortium, but their participation in discussions and events would offer valuable insight and information to the member communities. This is organization that I've been on, I think, as long as I've been on council, and it's one that I've actually been the chairman of for numerous years, and I see these bylaws as being much needed, and I would recommend we adopt this resolution.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other questions or comments for Vice Mayor Byington? Hearing none, Lori, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Duncan?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Byington?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
Yes.
Mrs. Hilton?
Yes.
Mr. Epley?
Yes.
And then finally, I have a resolution to vacate prior approvals of condominium units at the southeast corner of Point Oakwood residential development. This is a resolution to implement part of the Point Oakwood settlement agreement that was approved by council on March 20, 2017, and adopted by the Montgomery County Common Pleas Court on March 21, 2017. The component of that settlement was the agreement that Oakwood Investment Group and Hills Developers, Inc. would abandon their plans to build condominiums at the southeast corner of Point Oakwood, which is the intersection of Far Hills and West Shantz Avenue. Instead, that area is being replatted to create 4 single-family residential lots and a small public green space. In order to implement that agreement, OIG and Hills have formally withdrawn all applications to build condominiums at the southeast corner of the development. Council's part of the agreement requires us to adopt a resolution vacating all prior approvals of condominiums at that corner. The effect of this resolution will be to revert to the original master plan as it pertains to that corner, which approved this area for single-family residential uses and a small public green space. I move that council adopt this resolution, and do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion or comments? Hearing none, would you call the roll?
Mayor Duncan.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Byington.
I will recuse myself from the vote as I live across the street from the development.
Mr. Stevens.
Yes.
Mrs. Hilton.
Yes.
Mr. Epley.
Thank you. That concludes our legislation. We now have a staff report from our young Director of Leisure Services, Carol Collins. Welcome, Carol.
Thank you very much. Maybe. I might just have to move this. Let me get them all away. No automations, I guess.
Uh-oh, looks like it's moving. Oh, it's not on the projector.
Okay. Well, good evening. Certainly a pleasure to be here tonight. I just thought I would give you an update on some of the activities that are going on at the community center as well as throughout the community. I'm going to start tonight and talk about the pool. The pool opened on Memorial Day weekend. We have 448 family memberships, 91 single memberships, and 66 senior memberships, which is more than what we had last year. So everything so far has gone well at the pool. We need some really nice warm weather, which I guess we're going to get this weekend. So we're looking forward to the pool season. We have 3 family nights planned at the pool. They are Sunday, June the 25th, Sunday, July the 26th, and Sunday, August the 13th. The pool staff is planning the activities for that, and the pool will remain open until 9 o'clock that night so that the families can participate in this activity. Today was the first day of the Dolphins swim team. We have over 165 participants this year. We have had the first place for the last 14 years, so we're looking for the 15th year this year, but it's certainly a tradition for the children of Oakwood to participate in the swim team. I know that they have a good time, but it's also a lot of work. Certified swimming lessons. Today was the first day of registration for that. We'll be taking registrations for the swim lessons from now until the middle part of July. And last year we had 275 people that participated. Then at the end of the pool season, we have the Dog Splash. It will be the 9th annual Dog Splash, and that will be held on Sunday, September the 10th from 1 to 3. So last year we had 45 participants. Those little furry friends really liked to be in the pool, and that's the last activity that we have for the pool season. The Smith Gardens Legacy Paver Project is another popular program that we have. So far, we have put in 309 bricks of all different sizes, 4x8s, 8x8s, and 12x12s. We've brought in approximately $18,000 in revenue for this. And so that's been a great project for us, and that's one thing that will continue on. And one of the other projects that we have this year is we are putting pavers in on the driveway at Smith Gardens. Now, those won't be part of the Legacy Paver Project, but it'll be a really nice addition to Smith Gardens. We have 3 blanket concerts this year. The first one is June the 11th, Sunday, June the 11th at 7 o'clock. And it's Madcap Puppets, and this is a new program for them, and it's called Jumping Over the Moon, a Puppet Musical. So they've worked really hard on that puppet show, and we're looking forward to having them on June the 11th. The next one is July the 9th, and that's 4th Avenue. We've had them before, and they're a very popular group. And then on Sunday, August the 6th, is Honey in Houston, and that's a new group that we've never had before. One of the things that I wanted to bring up was the flag project on Schaefer Boulevard over Memorial Day weekend, and Laura Hart was here tonight, but she's the chair for that, and that has been a very popular event for Memorial Day. They will also be doing it over the 4th of July and on Labor Day. We have a family movie night at Old River, and that will be on Friday, July the 21st, and it's the Lego Batman movie. It starts at 9 o'clock, and it's co-sponsored by the City of Oakwood and Wright Memorial Public Library. So we encourage everybody to come down to Old River. There will be popcorn and refreshments for everybody, but it's kind of a nice evening to spend with the kids, and the kids are able to play on the green space as well as watch the movie. The other thing that I'd like to bring up is that we are now in possession of the Hollinger Memorial Tennis Club, and we are responsible for collecting all of the monetary donations and memberships. So far we have 65 memberships and have added 1 new member and a trial membership, and they also are doing several tournaments throughout the season to try and increase membership. We have lots of camps going on. Today was a camp for 3-year-olds, which was new, pretty popular. It was a lot of fun today, but we have probably 10 or 12 other camps that everybody's able to participate in, and we look forward to having them. There's a lot of new activity this year. And then the last thing I wanted to bring up was Tree City USA. This was the 35th year that the City of Oakwood had been recognized as a Tree City USA. Tree City USA was held in Lebanon, Ohio on April the 21st, and the city manager attended. But it's always a very nice program that they provide. But for the 36th consecutive year, Ohio was recognized as the nation's leader in Tree City USA communities. And I think that that's an important item to bring up. Last year, 27,000 trees were planted. According to what the Ohio Department of Natural Resources has given me, there were 81,000 trees that were pruned, over 50,000 hours of volunteer hours, and over $40 million spent towards urban forestry in the community. So Parks and Recreation, the benefits are endless, and certainly if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Carol? Congratulations for an excellent report. So
Yes.
I look forward to seeing the Madcap puppets on Sunday, correct? It's this Sunday?
The 11th.
Yes, this Sunday.
This Sunday, all right.
Sunday.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next, it is now time for our city manager report. Mr. Klops.
Thank you, Your Honor. I also want to thank Carol for all her work, decade after decade after decade. It was,
Well, if you put it that way.
this time of year for me in particular in Oakwood is special because everything is in full bloom, and the real beauty of our city shows and is visible. And in very, very large part, that's a function or a result of Carol and her staff and all their efforts. So thank you, Carol, for all you do. And just another quick comment about Mike. As I know you know on City Council, we have a lot of employees here that come to work for Oakwood and they stay here. And that is just wonderful for our community. I've said before publicly that Jay Weiskircher does a great job as our personnel officer in finding good quality employees right out of the chute. And then, we've just been blessed with outstanding leadership here over the years to develop new employees. And and instill in them the work ethic that ultimately becomes a Mike Winkowitz, and then Mike passes that on as he has for the better half of his career, as he was a supervisor for such a long time, to the new folks coming in. So it's just a wonderful community in general, and also a wonderful place to work. The couple other quick comments. The Shore Road project is tooling up now. The contractor's starting to store some equipment in the DP&L-owned property on the north end of Shore, right near Delwood. They're going to start some work in Kettering, they being Barrett Paving, and their subcontractors this week. And the plan right now is for them to move in to Oakwood on or about Monday, July 3rd. And at that time, they'll start doing concrete repair work around the perimeter, outside perimeter of the street, and then some pavement joint repair where needed, and then the rest of the project will unfold from there. There will be 2 message boards erected this week, one near the Speedway as you're heading northbound into Oakwood. They're off Dorothy, and one around the Carmel's parking lot as you're heading southbound into Oakwood. And the messages will alert motorists of the pending construction. So we'll be reducing the speed limit, as we talked about the last couple meetings, from 35 to 25 during the construction period, primarily for the safety of the workers, and it should be a good project. So the repair work on Ridgeway Road, the major part of the work is completed from Harmon down to Raleigh. That was the worst area of concrete street, so that looks good now. There'll be some additional repair work taking place a little bit later in the summer as you head further south on Ridgeway, and then at some point in the mid-late summer, Miami Valley Lighting will come in and replace all the street line poles. There are a lot of old poles there that have exceeded their useful life. If you drive up and down Far Hills today, if you drove, you would have seen the concrete sidewalk and curb work underway. So this is part of the 2017 project that will take place on the entire western part of Oakwood. So that's now underway with school wrapping up last week. We had a successful leaf mulch program again this year. In fact, the quality of the product, I think, was the best that I can ever remember. Very good mulch, and quite a number of Oakwood residents took advantage of that program, either having the city deliver leaf mulch or going to the public works yard and picking it up. And then my final comment is I guess, along the lines of a plea to the community to help us in keeping debris out of the street. We'll be distributing a press release on this to kind of help to get the word out and not just educate, but re-educate, I think, our citizens to the fact that except for the 10-week leaf collection season in the fall, which runs from about mid-October until just before Christmas, mid-December, placing any debris whatsoever in the street, the gutter line, or anywhere in the roadway is prohibited. And first and foremost, it's a safety issue for vehicles, for kids on bikes and that sort of thing. But secondly, it also, of course, is a community ambiance issue when that stuff is put out there. And it also negatively affects our storm sewer system and our downstream waterways. So there's really 3 reasons why citizens should not put debris in the street under any circumstance, again, other than during that 10-week leaf collection season. And during that leaf collection season, and I'll talk about this again in the fall, ideally those leaves are pushed out a day or 2 before we come by on a biweekly basis and pick them up. So we'll be enforcing this. We're going to put a new program, kind of an education first kind of approach in place at the beginning of July. So when we see debris in the street, we'll put door hangers out asking our residents to remove it within a 72-hour period. If it's not removed, we'll pick it up via the Public Works Department, but then we'll charge the property owner for a special pickup. And as you know, each property owner is entitled to 2 special pickups per year. So if we have to do that a 3rd time, why there'd be a $100 invoice that comes along with that pickup. So this is not intended to be punitive by any measure, but it's really just, again, primarily a safety issue and something important to our community. So we ask for support on that, and that's all I have.
Any questions for the city manager? If not, we'll go to council comments. Councilmember Epley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no comments tonight.
All right. Councilmember Hilton.
No comments tonight, Your Honor.
Councilmember Stevens.
None this evening, Your Honor.
Wow. Vice Mayor Byington.
I just wanted to remind everybody that the Oakwood Farmers Market started last Saturday, I guess it was their first Saturday, and it will be every Saturday through, I think, September or something like that. So I was not able to attend the first one as I was out of town, but I'm looking forward to being there this Saturday. I encourage everybody to stop by. There are a lot of great vendors, and I think they've got some new ones this year, as well as activities for the kids and family as a whole. So stop by if you get a chance.
Thank you. City manager of Centerville, Greg Horn, is retiring after about 25 years as city manager, and Norb and I will represent our city in a retirement celebration for him at the end of June. And then secondly, later, a couple days after that, there's an event that the United States Air Force has called Corona Top, and it's going to be at the Air Force Museum, and they invite community leaders. But all of the top brass from the United States Air Force across the country come to this event. So it's a great way to show off what a wonderful facility we have here with Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. So there's a lot of community leaders there, and we will be also in attendance, making sure that everyone across the country knows what a great facility we have. And the final thing, I forgot to actually say this during the decathlon folks, but I believe one of their topics that was part of the event this year was World War II. And they had to be knowledgeable about that from history and public speaking and the other types of things that they do. This week is the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Midway. 6 months, 6 months prior is when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, and then we were able to have the Doolittle bombing raid, which celebrated their 75th anniversary in April of this year. But the Japanese, most of the aircraft carriers that the United States had were at sea when they bombed Pearl Harbor. So they had a task force of 4 aircraft carriers going against R2 because our 3rd aircraft carrier was damaged in the Battle of the Coral Sea the month prior. That aircraft carrier, and I believe it was the Yorktown, they towed it back into Pearl Harbor. It had a 10-mile oil slick behind it the entire time. They said they were going to need a couple months to repair it, and Admiral Nimitz said, "You've got 72 hours." And so over 1,000, welders and technicians and machinists got the Yorktown back in service, and it was able to join the fleet. Through our, code-breaking skills, we had an idea that they were coming to Midway to try to, destroy the rest of our carriers that had, and they clearly had the odds, but we were able to, we failed in sending planes at the little island of Midway, and then our first group of torpedo bombers were slaughtered. 36 out of the 42 planes were shot down by the Japanese. But then through luck, we had some dive bombers that were lost, and then suddenly found the carriers, the Japanese carriers, and we sunk all 4 of their carriers. The Japanese lost 322 aircraft and over 5,000 men. The American losses were about 147 aircraft and more than 300 seamen. Most people point to the Japanese aircraft losses as what hurt them, but really it was all of the trained mechanics that caused them to now be on the defensive for the rest of World War II. And it's most people believe that was from that point on, the United States was on the offensive. And so I just want people to remember all of the brave men that, fought for our country and gave the ultimate sacrifice to turn that war around. And only in June of '42, it took 3 more years to totally have the surrender in August of 1945. So with that, our next formal meeting is on Monday, July 17 of 2017, and the meeting is adjourned.